I'm Sarah Mitchell, 32 years old, ER nurse, single mom, and about 3 months ago, I found out exactly what I was worth to the people who raised me. And trust me, it wasn't much. It started on a random Tuesday evening. Nothing dramatic at first, just me in the kitchen, stirring a pot of mac and cheese, while my daughter Emma sat in her high chair kicking her little legs like she was dancing to some invisible beat. "Mommy, more cheese!" she giggled. I remember smiling, thinking, yeah, life's hard, but this right here, this is enough. Then my chest tightened. Not like anxiety, not like stress. I've worked in an ER long enough to know the difference. This was wrong. My heart didn't just race, it stuttered, like it forgot how to beat for a second, then slammed back into overdrive trying to catch up. I grabbed the counter. Okay, breathe, I whispered to myself. Emma looked at me, her little face scrunched up. "Mommy okay?" I nodded, even though I wasn't. "Yeah, baby, Mommy's good." Lie. The pain spread down my arm like ice water. My vision blurred at the edges. And that's when instinct kicked in. I dialed 911. Because when your own body feels like it's betraying you, you don't wait around hoping it'll fix itself. By the time the paramedics got there, I was barely holding it together. They hooked me up to monitors right there in my living room. One of them looked at the screen, then at me, and his whole expression changed. Yeah, that's never a good sign. "Ma'am, your heart rhythm is unstable. We need to move. Now." That word, now, hit different. They lifted me onto the stretcher. Emma started crying the second they carried me out. "Mommy!" That scream, that sound, it still messes me up. Because in that moment, I didn't know if I was coming back. In the ambulance, everything felt loud and distant at the same time. Beeping monitors, sirens, voices talking over each other. My heart rate was through the roof, and all I could think about was Emma. 2 years old, still sleeps with her stuffed bunny, still says spaghetti like pesgetti, still needs her mom. So I did the only thing I could think of. I called my parents. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. It rang twice, 3 times. Then my mom picked up. "Sarah, what is it? I'm busy." Busy. That should have been my first clue. "Mom, I'm in an ambulance. They think something's wrong with my heart. I need you to pick up Emma." Silence. Not concern, not panic, just silence. Then she sighed. "Sarah, you always do this." My stomach dropped. "Do what?" "Overreact. Everything is always a crisis with you. It's exhausting." I blinked, trying to process what she just said. "Mom, I'm literally on a stretcher. The paramedic is telling me I might need emergency surgery." Another pause. Then, "We can't." Flat, cold, final. "What do you mean, you can't?" I said, my voice rising despite everything. "We have plans tonight. Your brother got us tickets. We're going out." I felt something inside me crack. "Mom, I could die." "Don't be dramatic." That sentence, yeah, that one stayed with me. "I just need a few hours, please. Emma can't stay alone." "Well, call one of your little friends," she snapped. "We're not canceling our night because you're having one of your episodes." My episodes, like I was some inconvenience, like my life was optional. "Mom!" Click. She hung up. Just like that. I stared at the phone like it might explain itself, but it didn't, because sometimes the truth is simple. They knew, and they didn't care. I didn't cry. People always think that's the moment you break. Nah, I went quiet, Because when reality hits that hard, your brain stops trying to feel and starts trying to survive. "Do you have someone else we can call?" the paramedic asked. I swallowed. "No." Then I corrected myself. "Wait, yeah, I do." I remembered something I'd set up months ago, just in case, because deep down, I always knew I couldn't rely on them. I called a professional childcare service. Within minutes, they confirmed someone was on the way. A stranger, not family. A stranger, and somehow that felt safer. At the hospital, everything moved fast. Doctors, nurses, bright lights, words like ventricular tachycardia and cardiac instability getting thrown around. I understood every word, which made it worse, because I knew exactly how serious it was. They needed to operate, immediately. No waiting, no scheduling, no second opinions. Now. Before they wheeled me into surgery, I made one more call. My bank. "Hi, I need to cancel a recurring transfer." "Of course, which one?" "The one for $3,800, going to account ending in 4821. "Done. Anything else?" I paused. 8 years. 8 years of payments. Gone with one sentence. "No," I said quietly. "That's everything." Then she showed up. Patricia. Mid-50s, calm, steady, the kind of woman who doesn't panic, ever. She walked into that ER like she owned the place, looked at Emma, looked at me, understood everything without needing a full explanation. "She yours?" she asked softly. "Yeah," I whispered. Patricia smiled and picked Emma up like she'd been doing it her whole life. "Hey there, sweetheart. Looks like you and me are gonna have a little sleepover." Emma stopped crying almost instantly. That's when I knew. This woman, she was the right person. "Thank you," I said, tears finally slipping out. She squeezed my hand. "You focus on getting through this. I got your baby." And just like that, a stranger became my safety net, while my own family sat at a concert. They wheeled me into surgery at 9:47 p.m. Cold room, bright lights, machines humming. "Count backward from 10, the anesthesiologist said. 10, 9, 8. My last thought? Not fear, not pain, just one question. If I don't wake up, will they even care? And then everything went black. When I woke up, everything felt heavy. Not just my body, my whole world. There was this slow, rhythmic beeping somewhere to my left, and for a second I thought I was still dreaming. Then the pain hit. Sharp, deep, real. I opened my eyes. White ceiling, hospital lights, tubes, wires. And the first thing I said, before anything else, was one word. "Emma." My voice came out dry, barely a whisper. A nurse stepped into view almost immediately. Hey, easy," she said softly. "Surgery went well. You're okay." Okay. That word felt strange, like I wasn't sure I believed it yet. "My daughter," I tried again. The nurse smiled. "She's safe. The nanny you arranged, she's been sending updates all night." She turned her phone toward me, and there she was, Emma, curled up on a couch, clutching her stuffed bunny, fast asleep. Peaceful, safe, alive. I let out a breath I didn't even realize I was holding. That's when it hit me. I made it. I actually made it. The doctor came in later that morning, told me the surgery was complicated, told me my heart had gone into complete arrest at one point, told me they had to bring me back. I nodded like I was processing it, but honestly, I wasn't, because one thought kept looping in my head. They still didn't call. Not once. Not during surgery. Not after. Nothing. Day 1 in ICU, silence. Day 2, still nothing. Day 3, that's when my phone rang. I remember staring at the screen. Dad. For a split second, something inside me softened. Maybe they finally realized. Maybe they were worried. Maybe... I answered. Hello? Sarah, what's going on with the rent? Just like that. No, how are you? No, are you okay? Straight to money. I blinked slowly. What? The landlord called, said the payment didn't go through this month. You need to call Marcus and figure it out. Marcus. Of course. Dad, I'm in the hospital. Yeah, your mom mentioned something about that anxiety thing, but you sound fine now. I felt my grip tighten around the phone. I had heart surgery. A pause. Then, oh, that's it. Just, oh. Well, since you're awake now, can you handle the rent thing? And that was the moment something inside me shut off completely. Not broke, not cracked, just turned off, like a switch. I can't help you, I said calmly. What do you mean you can't? I hung up. For the first time in my life, I hung up on my father. I got discharged on day 6. Walking out of that hospital felt surreal, like stepping into a life that didn't quite belong to me yet. Patricia was waiting outside with Emma. The second Emma saw me, she lit up. Mommy! She ran into my arms, and I dropped to my knees to catch her, carefully, slowly, but completely. I held her so tight it almost hurt. And in that moment, I knew something with absolute clarity. This right here, this is my family. Not the people who share my last name, not the ones who raised me, but the ones who show up. That night, after Emma fell asleep, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open. Bank statements, transfers, 8 years of history, month after month, $3,800, like clockwork. No recognition, no appreciation, just expected. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I opened a new email. My hands didn't shake this time. They were steady, calm, done. I wrote everything. The truth. All of it. 8 years of support. The surgery. The phone call. The silence. I didn't sugarcoat it. Didn't soften it. Didn't apologize. And at the end, I wrote one line that mattered more than anything else. I'm done. Then, I hit send. 4 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom. I let it go. Then again, and again, and again. Voicemails started piling up. At first, confused. Sarah, what is this email? Then defensive. This isn't funny. Then angry. How dare you accuse us of something like this? By that night, it turned into panic. Sarah, please call us back. By the next morning, 53 missed calls, and suddenly, they had time. I didn't answer. Not a single one. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. When you finally stop giving, people don't suddenly respect you. They panic because they lost access. 3 days later, Marcus called. I almost didn't pick up, but something told me I should. Sarah, what's going on? He said. I leaned back in my chair. What do you mean? Mom's losing it. She says you're claiming you've been paying their rent? Not claiming, but proving. Silence. You're serious? Yeah. Why would you even do that? I let out a quiet laugh. Because they needed help. Because I thought that's what family does. He didn't respond right away.
Then finally, they thought it was me. I know. Another pause. You never corrected them. Nope. Why not? I looked around my small kitchen, at the toys on the floor, at the life I built by myself. I didn't need the credit. I just needed them to care. That hit. I could feel it through the phone. Sarah, I didn't know. That's the problem. None of you ever knew anything about me. The calls kept coming after that, from everyone. Aunts, uncles, people who hadn't spoken to me in years, all suddenly very concerned. Not about me, about them. Your parents are struggling. They're under a lot of stress. Family helps family. Funny how that goes only one way. 2 weeks later, I had a follow-up appointment, and that's where everything changed again. Because they showed up. In the waiting room. Like nothing had happened. Like we were still a family. And the look on their faces when they saw me, it wasn't relief. It wasn't love. It was desperation. And that's when I realized they didn't come because I almost died. They came because they needed something.
They were sitting side by side in the waiting room, like nothing had changed, like I hadn't almost died, like they hadn't ignored me, like 8 years of my life hadn't been quietly drained to keep theirs comfortable. My mom stood up first. "Sarah," she said, rushing toward me like we were in some reunion scene. I didn't move, didn't smile, didn't open my arms, nothing. That stopped her mid-step. "Not here," I said calmly. "I have an appointment." My dad stepped in, already irritated. "We've been calling you for 2 weeks. You can't just ignore us like that." I looked him dead in the eye. "Watch me." That hit him harder than I expected, because I'd never talked to him like that before. Not once. Not in 32 years. Emma squeezed my hand, hiding slightly behind my leg. She didn't know them, and honestly, that said everything. "We need to talk about that email," my mom said, lowering her voice like this was some private misunderstanding. "There's nothing to talk about." "Of course there is," my dad snapped. "You're accusing us of taking money from you for years. That's a serious claim." I let out a slow breath. Not accusing, stating facts. "Marcus handles our finances," he said quickly. I shook my head. "No, Marcus handles your illusions." Silence. My mom's face tightened. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I almost laughed. "You want to talk about fair now?" I stepped closer, just enough so they couldn't pretend they didn't hear me. "I called you from an ambulance," I said quietly. "I told you I might need emergency heart surgery." My mom looked away. "We didn't know it was that serious." That's a lie. My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. Because truth doesn't need volume. It just needs clarity. I told you exactly what was happening. And even if you didn't believe me, you still didn't check. Not once. My dad crossed his arms. "You've always exaggerated things, Sarah." And there it was, the same old script, the same excuse, the same dismissal. Only this time, it didn't work. "I died on that table," I said. That shut him up completely. My heart stopped. They had to bring me back. My mom's eyes widened slightly. But she didn't say sorry. Not yet. Not even then. The nurse called my name from the hallway. "Sarah Mitchell?" I turned. "I'll be right there." Then I looked back at them. This conversation is over. My mom reached out, grabbing my arm. "Sarah, please, we're in trouble." Of course they were. Now they were in trouble. "We can't afford the apartment," she said, her voice shaking. "The landlord is threatening eviction." I stared at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. "You should have thought about that when you had a daughter who would have done anything for you." I pulled my arm free. "And you chose not to show up." After my appointment, something happened that changed everything. Something I didn't expect. A doctor approached me in the hallway. "Sarah?" I turned. It was one of the ER physicians from the night I came in. "I remember you," I said. He nodded. "Can I talk to you for a second?" Something in his tone made my chest tighten. "Yeah, sure." He glanced toward the waiting room, then back at me. "Those people out there, your parents?" I hesitated. "Yeah." He exhaled slowly. "I need you to know something." And the way he said it, I already knew it wasn't going to be easy to hear. "The night you came in, I called them." My heart skipped. "You... what?" "You listed them as emergency contacts," he explained. "I told your mother you were in critical condition, that you were in surgery, that she needed to come immediately." My stomach dropped. "What did she say?" He didn't answer right away, which somehow made it worse. Then, finally, "She asked if you were going to die within the next couple of hours." My hands went cold. "And when I told her I couldn't guarantee anything," he continued, "she said she had plans and would check in tomorrow if you were still alive." Everything around me went quiet, like the world just muted itself. She hung up. And just like that, every last piece of doubt I had, gone. Completely gone. I didn't cry. Not then, not there. Because something stronger replaced it. Clarity. Pure, undeniable clarity. They didn't misunderstand. They didn't make a mistake. They made a choice. As I walked past the waiting room on my way out, my parents were still there, talking, waiting, planning their next move. My dad looked up. Our eyes met, and for the first time in my life, he looked unsure. I didn't stop, didn't slow down, didn't give them another second of my time, because I finally understood something most people take years to learn. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you deciding you're done. The calls didn't stop immediately. They never do. At first, it got worse. More calls, more messages, more pressure. But I didn't answer. Not once. And slowly, they faded. Because when people realize they can't control you anymore, they lose interest. I heard through family that they lost the apartment, that they moved in with Marcus, that things weren't going well. That reality hit them hard. And for the first time in my life, I felt nothing about it. No guilt, no satisfaction, just distance. A few months later, my mom sent a letter, handwritten, pages long. Apologies, regret, excuses wrapped in self-awareness. I read it, then I folded it and put it away, because some apologies come too late to matter. Life didn't magically become perfect after that. I still had bills, still had recovery, still had long nights and early mornings. But I also had peace. Real peace. The kind you don't have to fight for every day. Emma's 3 now. She laughs a lot, talks nonstop, calls Patricia Grandma Pat, and honestly, that's the only grandmother she needs. A while back, I ran into Marcus. He looked different, tired, humbled. He apologized, sincerely, for once, asked if we could rebuild something. I thought about it. really thought about it. Then I shook my head. Some doors don't reopen, I told him. Not because I hate you, but because I finally love myself enough not to. And that's where my story ends. Not with revenge, not with some dramatic comeback, but with something way better: freedom. Because sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who teach you exactly what love is not. And once you learn that, you stop chasing it in the wrong places. So if you're listening to this right now and you've been giving everything to people who give you nothing back, let me tell you something straight. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong people. And one day, when you finally walk away, you won't feel broken. You'll feel free. And trust me, that feeling hits different.